Okay, good. Hello, James. What you got with you?
Are you queen? Oh, I got a junior.
How you guys doing, James?
Good to see
Junior.
you, Willard.
See ya. Good seeing you.
I didn't even know that we were matching colors today.
You guys look good.
Glenn's about half out of my picture. Oh, hey, you're doing that on purpose. Huh?
Camera.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Good, good.
All right, thank you.
Can we shut this door? Or
Yep. All right, we're live. We're live and at it. Hello, everybody. My name is Virgil Moorhead Jr. I have a wonderful group of panelists today, intergenerational panel, to talk about our local stick game. Before I get started, I just want to let everybody know we're on the virtual Indigenous Speaker Series for Two Feathers. We're up here in Humboldt County, right on the coast. I also want to, before I turn it over to each one of our panelists, to pay honor and respect to the land that I'm currently on, which is the land of the Wiyot people. And I also want to say that at Two Feathers, here we stand in solidarity with those that are fighting the good fight around social justice and equity in our country. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over, and maybe we'll just start with each person introducing themselves, however you want to introduce yourself. And since James is and James Jr. is on the screen next to me, maybe we'll start with the Gensaws.
Are you queen? Neck now, James Jinsaw Senior, and I'm a cultural mentor and Yurok language teacher, and I'm a father of a Yurok tribal member. Well, lots of the Yurok tribal members, but Kalmaki.
I create Nick now. James Jensal Jr. I'm in 8th grade now, and I'm a York tribal member.
And Willard.
Hey, I'm Willard Carlson. I come from Blue Creek. I've been an advocate for our youth and been an activist for all of our indigenous peoples, including us along the river with a bunch of others. And I'm very proud to be here. Glad to be here today.
Okay, thank you, Willard. And James. Walt.
My name is Walt Lara Sr., and I'm 85 years old, and I played sticks all my life, and I worked with a lot of kids that are 60, 65 years old now. So in the stick game, and I learned my field of playing sticks from the late Glenmore and his brother Don. Don and I, he was a falling for Dean Langford and I was peeling, but we'd wrestle every noon. So that was how I learned a lot about wrestling. And he was a boxer and he liked to box too. So we did a lot of shadow boxing, more or less. Didn't hit each other, but we swung at each other. So also the undefeated team that they had was late Harold Blake and Uncle Oscar Taylor, Bill Jinsaw, James's grandfather, and George and Grizzly Ike McCovey. And they had a lot with me, training with me from when I was real young. One time we were rolling tires down the hill. We poured gas in them and light them and let them roll down Rockwell Hill. And we got caught. Oscar Taylor, he That was Ralph Downs' stepfather. He caught us and locked us up in one hand and spanked us with the other. And so I went to see him when he was, passing away. He had cancer, and he said, "You know why I did that?" And we said, "Because we're rolling tires down." He says, "No, because your grandfather did that to me, and your Uncle Harvey spanked us both at one time too, because we weren't doing right." And so everything was cool with us. With him, he thought it was good. So anyway, that's the kind of life that I lived.
Thank you, Walt. And we have Glenn Moore next to Walt on here.
Good afternoon, Virgil. Good afternoon, everybody. It's an honor to be able to join you guys today. My name is Glenn Moore II, and I'm a Hoopa Valley tribal member, but also of Yurok descent from my grandfather's side. And I listened to a lot of the stories that my grandfather, Glenn Moore, and my Uncle Don and them talk about what Walt talked about, and worked with my grandfather a lot younger, putting stick games on, and kind of learning the importance of stick games to our people. And I'm just really honored to be here today, and hopefully I get to learn a lot and be able to contribute. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have Tessa on next. You want to say a few, introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. You queen now, Tessa Andre Sonny Cooper. My first stick game was pretty good, but I managed to make it through, so yeah. Fuck them.
All right. Thank you. And we have one of my colleagues joining me, Kyoki, Mr. Burbank.
Hi, my name's Kyoki Burbank. Grew up in Wichpeck and Hoopa. Just my kind of experience with the stick game is just working with you, Virgil, on creating the video and getting to talk to a lot of you on the panel and learning from all of you. I've had helped Jude Marshall through Warrior Institute run some stick practices and stuff, but mostly my expertise on that was just like doing the physical training and stuff. So I'm excited to hear all of you great men speak on this amazing game. It's super fun to watch. I coach football, and my coaching staff is always asking me questions about it, and they're just like, "Man, that game is so much more brutal than football," and they're just so into it. And so, and another really cool thing is seeing Tessa Onway on here talking. We coached him up in just so many with Walt on here, and the two Jameses, just seeing the intergenerations that are stick players, and this game's still being played at a high level.
Thank you. And so the first question I'm going to throw out, we have people tuning in here on Facebook, local, as well as I think people throughout the state and maybe over the nation. And so my question is what is the importance, and some of you have already talked a little bit about it, but what is the importance of the stick game to our people of this, our native people of this area, with a particular focus on wellness? What is the importance of the stick game to Indians in this area, especially around wellness? And so does anybody want to take a stab at that question?
Yeah, I talked with James, and we talked a little bit about, he had some things to say about that. And my part to what I would have to say is that the last game that I played, I was 54 years old, and we won. And so it wasn't a game of trying to destroy your team, the person that you were playing against. It was a sportsmanship game, and I would say it was treated, more like let's say basketball. I would say football and basketball, a combination of sportsmanship to how you played the game and your techniques and your style and those type of things is what counted to how you got your person down. I put some pictures in there that I had when I played hoopball. This time we played hoopball down at Klamath, and it was a good game. It was a really good game, and we didn't win that game. We couldn't. Both Jim Proctor and myself, we got away from the men that we were playing against, but we couldn't find that tossle. And the sportsmanship of that was more or less our team's fault because our coaches were all doing something else and they weren't where they were supposed to be to show us where the tossle was at. And so one of the persons that Jim got away from ran all around down there, and his coach was down there, and he got the tossle pointed out to him so that he could take the tossle out. And we were down there for maybe 3 minutes, something like that. And we couldn't find it because our coaches weren't on the ball. And so coaches are important as well as to control the sportsmanship of the game. If it's starting to get out of hand, the coaches will take care of it. If somebody's choking somebody like they shouldn't be or fisting them up. And so that's how it was supposed to be and how my dad or my grandfather showed me how to do it. And he was a good stick player himself in his day. And, you know, I've always wondered where the strength that they had came from because they could hang on to you just like Paul Oscar said my dad did to him, held him and my uncle together and gave him a licking. So, but they had that strength. And the only one man that I know of that played sticks with us that had strength in his hands like that was the late Bricky Proctor. Llewellyn Proctor was his name, Bricky's nickname. And so it still happens, and James is pretty strong too. Willard and I were not that great in strength, but we're really good in playing sticks. Okay, we'll go ahead. Somebody else, James.
Okay. Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about what we call Hirsch Spur. Hirsch Spur is a Yurok word for stick games, and then I'm gonna actually say some of the names for these in Yurok. Then I'll talk about like the importance of health and wellness. I was told by some of my teachers and elders. But so the stick game is called Hirsch Spur, and this is called Hirsch Spur. A little bit different sound. The same, but this is a stick games. These are old sticks passed down through the family. My great grandpa Bill and his brother Oscar Taylor and all them from their sticks, and then this is one of the what we call wate, the tossles here, or wate. It's the Yurok word for those. So I got to work with a lot of different elders on this. I walk Glenn Senior. I walk Elliot Henry. I walk Jimmy Toe, and one of the important things that I walk Jimmy Toe told me about how it pertains to your mental health and all that is you go out there and you play sticks and you play it with honor, like Walt was saying. You go out there and you invest all your time into training your body, practicing, running, building up that strength. And when you went out there, everyone in the community was watching on how you dealt with that person in front of you, because that could translate into your overall life as how you deal with obstacles. how you do with adversity. And, you know, if you went out there and you just try to hurt somebody or you try to embarrass somebody, you know, everyone in the community saw how you played sticks, and they say, you know, he'd say, if you were being mean to someone, really trying to hurt them, people say it. I don't want to be that guy's neighbor. Look how he treats people. And you wanted to go out there and you wanted to play hard. And if someone was better than you worked harder. You worked on those skills, like Walt was saying, those skills to get better. And it was really hard. And it also taught people how to take care of their bodies, right? Get in physical shape and to train. You know, I heard some stories about people swimming out on the south side of the mouth of the Klamath Rivers, a mile out there to that big rock and swimming out to it and back to build up their wind and strength for the stick games. And you know, my uncle Oscar Taylor did that. Swam out there and came back and almost didn't make it back. He said a couple of those heels helped push him back because his legs are cramping up. But you know, it's we can get into that later too. Did different training styles, but you know, it's supposed to be about honor and commitment to yourself and your people and to how you want to be in life, how you want to deal with adversity, how you want to deal with obstacles.
Willard?
Yes, playing sticks was a great honor, and it was a great spectator sport like basketball, and you know, because you had your coaches, you had your team, and you had matchups. You would take your strong man. Your strong man could also drop tossle, or your strong man will be the anchor man, which will neutralize the fast man. Everybody had a anchor man, drop tossle, and their fast man, each team. So it was a thing about matchups, but also it was a thing about conditioning, because you would know when Hoopaw or Tolowa boys, I walk, you know, a lot of them are past tense now. Smith River, you know, there was a lot of the Kibbies, Lopez boys, a young Roger Buckskin, and those guys were all good athletes. They were like boxers, you know, so they were always in good shape. And Hoopaw, they would always be training upriver. We had some really good teams from upriver there. So you didn't want to be embarrassed. So, you know, when you had a real big game, like, you know, say Salmon Festival, and we had a lot of them after the brush dances. And so we would train very hard. I walked Sam Jones, and Walt taught us a lot. Some of the other coaches, Glenn Moore, and I walk Edgar McLaughlin down at Wetchbeck, train us down at Wetchbeck Bar. So it was a team sport. So we would look at it as a team sport. Sure, the guy dropping a tossle gets you know, credit for scoring usually, and you know, and we had a real great strong team for about 2 years. I have to say I was very proud to have that. One was my best friend, Iwak Harold Bear Jones out of Crescent City. He was our strongman. My cousin Richard Martin, he was the strongest man I seen in those days. And he was also very fast. And Eddie Moore was our fast man. I played a little bit, dropping tossle, then anchor. And of course, you know, we'd always have Walt on us. He'd say, "Come on, you guys got to get down there. And you Hoopahs practice really hard. They said they're going to really get you guys." And so we always knew what we had in us, you know, because we did train. And the the game, sometimes there would be like 400 people there watching the game, man. There's a lot of people there. Hot, playing in old Briars and Oster Field, and and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon after a dance, and it's 90 plus or 100, and the sand's so dang hot, and your feet are burning, but hey, you had to grind it out. And towards end of Walt, when we had a team there, and so Walt had to come in and play, and that was with Richard Martin, and we won that day. And so there was a lot of great times. You had respect of your people. You had respect of your opposition. We were still friends after a game, and sure, there'd be some, a little bit of fisticuffs once in a while, and people got a little rough. That was part of the game, but we didn't go out there to try to really intentionally hurt somebody. We made it a real good, fun event. And some of the, sometimes we'd be down at, say, Humboldt State and Ferndale Fairgrounds, and it'd be an exhibition. Everybody would get out, get people out of the crowd, and people who never played. So it was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Glenn, just getting back to Willard talked about respect and respecting your opponent, respect yourself. So just the original question of the sticks and the way it's tied into wellness and what's right with our culture.
Yeah, totally agree with what the panel said. Working with my grandfather a lot, he kind of taught me a philosophy about stick games, and I still practice it today. I carried over to kind of my coaching style that I do in sports that I coach, and he always talked about when you play sticks, it's a life lesson. It's how you live your life, and if you're going to cheat at stick games, then you're going to cheat in life. If you're going to go out half-ass and play, not train, that's the way you're gonna be in life. He said you take things serious. You play a straight game, and I took that philosophy and kind of utilized it for the well-being of how I do things, and how I coach, and kind of how I mentor younger people. I always kind of reflect back on those teachings, and he used to say that quite a bit. It wasn't just a one-time saying. Like every time that we would talk about sticks or things, that's kind of how he would start out his lessons. Was, this is a life lesson, and you live your life that way. That's the way you're going to live. And stick games was very important to Indian people in this area, and so I hear a lot of great stick players and how they used to play, and you always kind of wanted to keep it that way, and so that's kind of the thing I have to say about that.
Thank you, Glenn. Tessa on?
Yeah.
What sticks mean to you? How come you like sticks?
Because I get play with other people, we get to spend time together, and it's just really fun to do.
Nice. What about Junior James?
What it means to me is need to think real quick.
You like it? What do you like about it?
I like, of course, wrestling people, but not hurting them, but yeah, physical activity, and
That's good. All right. So I know Kiyoki had a question, and then we have a couple more. So Kiyoki.
Yeah, one thing, just listening to all your first set of stories that I find really amazing is you're saying these names of people who taught you, and you still see those last names in the young men who are playing today. And so it's definitely been something that's been passed down through the families. But the question I want to ask, and you kind of touched on it a little bit already, how does the game of sticks translate to some of the sports that are being played today, like football, basketball? I know we have wrestlers on here. Glenn, you also coach softball. Is there anything that you use from the lessons you learned as a stick player that translate to those sports? Maybe start with you, Glenn, as a softball coach. And I know your son has played as well, and you passed that down.
Yeah, it's like, kind of like I talked earlier about just, keeping respect for the game. I think that's huge. And learning that from the former stick players and the older stick players that used to play, and how they used to talk about it, and the passion that they had about the game and the importance of it to our people. I guess that was the one thing that I really learned, was just respect of the game, and the love of the game. And with softball, from my older daughter, she taught me the love of the game, and so respect that game. And so I kind of pass that on into a coaching style to respect the game. We don't cheat. We work hard, and we play fair, and we play respectful, not only to the other team, but to any of the umpires and to our fans. And so that's a huge lesson, is respect of the game.
There was a game in Hoopa, and Uncle Glenn and Dawn, they played, and they were on the same team. And Dawn had this, I would say, player from Hoopa, had him down, and then he looked at the crowd and he waved at the crowd while he was holding that guy down. And you see that is confidence that you get because you've been training, because you know what you can do. And so I think that a lot of this stick game is training. I train on 3 beaches: Gold Bluff Beach, Oric Beach, and Chapac, Stone Lagoon Beach. And Dry Lagoon Beach is the one that's sort of in the middle there. You run down there, and you can run. You're supposed to be able to run as fast as a coyote. You can catch a coyote if you train hard enough there. You can. And I trained with the stick and the tossle. And I'd run down that beach, and as the breakers would come in and they'd go out, I'd throw that tossle in there, and I'd try to get to that tossle before that breaker came back in. Just like that all the way through. And this is how you get your wind, how you can run in sand, or you can run on harder ground. And it's like I was talking about with James about Clam Beach. That's a different kind of a beach. You think you can run fast on a beach up there. When you get on Clam Beach, it's a little harder, man, and you can really run there. And so, like when you get through playing, you talk to those people that you were playing against, and if they did a good job, you tell them you did a good job. You know, tell them that they played good. You know, don't just go off. If you lose, you still do the same thing, because that keeps that wanting to play you again. Are you wanting to play them? Your teams like that. It's a really good a relationship thing. You have. Well, I would say it's a lifetime relationship. It's a lifetime relationship. And those guys you play with, that's another lifetime relationship that you never forget. Those guys and what they did and like that. And just like Willard, he's 25 years younger than I am, but we played together on that stick field. That's something that I'm proud of, because I played with a young man like that and won. And Richard Martin was my nephews. I say he was so darn strong. It was unbelievable. He was in grammar school and he fought me. So I just how he was that kind of a guy. He was Donna Martin's son, and and she was one that made you do things right if you were going to do them. Okay, so.
Anybody else? Willard, James?
I would like to thank everybody here for everything you have done for all of our people, and I want to thank Walt for always being honest. Not honest on us. I'm just kidding, both. But it's really great to be in this conversation, especially with all of our great players of the past. And if we can keep our youngsters, like the two on the panel here, engaged to keep carrying on of things that we've taken great pride and honor in, I think we'll be okay. I would like to see we got a lot of little guys, youngsters that really want to play. And I'd really like to see if we can spend a little more time getting them to scrimmage and kind of wrestle more, because everybody wants to go get to tussle, which is all good. But I've seen a lot of good young players that are really coming up. And I know a lot of them are wrestlers. And I just think about all the special times that we had, and it was really something special, and I'm proud to be part of that. Thank you.
James Jr., maybe is there something that you've learned from sticks? I know you're a multi-sport athlete. What is translated from the game of sticks into your other sports you've been playing?
Sticks, wrestling, sticks and wrestling, it's like the same strength in your body. To wrestle it's the same. Can't explain it. Takes like the same muscle memory of sticks to wrestling. It helped me with that.
Skills. Yeah.
Same skills. And that's pretty much
Has
it.
it helped you in football or basketball at all?
Hard work and
Hey, I got actually Kyoki, I wrestled and played a little bit of sticks. I didn't play a little bit of sticks, but I don't know if Walt knew, but I wrestled James Sr. So I'm not going to say how that went, but I don't know if I played him on the stick field either. But I think I really echo with there's something, a follow-up is there's something like about sticks and wrestling and sticks and sports that so many of our native young boys like James Jr., myself, others, like I feel like maybe it's like something within our, in science, it would be like genetics or something, but like there's so many, if you go to the freestyle tournaments, the local wrestling, so many of the native boys and now girls too are wrestling, and in sport too. And our original sport, from what I hear, is sticks. So I'm just wondering, like, James, your thoughts about like that of like, is wrestling or is these other sports kind of like a way from sticks? And we're still doing sticks, but there seems to be some overlap.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of it is probably genetic memory or things like that too. But I think it is like, to kind of answer both of your question and Kyoki's question, is that it is a foundation for lots of different sports and can be translated through all different types of sports. You got the part in there where you have to find that trust, right? You have to build that camaraderie. You have to trust your other teammates, because everyone, like Willard was saying, has their own roles. And that translates into life. We're all not mechanics. We're all not basket makers. We're all not singers. Everyone has their own role in the community. And then stick games, it teaches you that everyone has their own role. Then you have to be able to trust people. And then also there's that part of that where you have to find your own individuality, right? You have to put in that work. You have to trust. Sometimes when you're there one-on-one against somebody, like in boxing or in wrestling, there's that element where it's just you. And it's like, did I put in enough work? Did I work hard enough? And I think that translates into lots of different sports. I think it builds a good foundation if you do it right. Also, I know what we do in stick games and what we do in wrestling, because I coach wrestling, is we look at, like, if we lost, we don't say, we don't talk bad about the other person, but we say, okay, what can we work on? What do you think that you did wrong, James? And then, what can we do differently next time? And so I think those are all like the foundation for any kind of sport. And I think part of it also is like, it is something that was taught to us. We've been doing these things since before human time, right? Stick games are around when Ant and Thunder and all those guys played sticks over in Kinnick, right? Center of the Yurok world. So, it is something that's taught to us. It's been taught to us since the beginning of time. And it does lay a foundation on how you treat your neighbors and how you treat people and overcome obstacles in your life.
Mm-hmm. What I see in it is like Bronk McCovey. He was, however, he was visually acting those guys as grandchildren, and those champion teams that never were defeated. And man, that guy could play sticks, and he played different guys. And just the other day on the cage fighting, two stick players from down below Witchbeck, the Cozy brothers, when the
UFC.
what do you call it?
UFC contract. UFC.
USC?
UFC.
Yeah, UFC.
Yeah. And so, their confidence, they got their confidence because of their ability to play sticks, to not be shy, because like the guy said, why not, So in my life, playing the game of sticks is who I am today. I worked till I was 80 years old. I was a boss for 65 years. I just those things come natural. When I went into the service, I was 17 and a day old when I enlisted in there. And Glenn Scott was already in there. He came home on leave. And he said, I said, which one shall I go into? He said, go into the Army Airborne because it has the best food. So I enlisted in there. I didn't realize all the extra things I had to do, but it was no problem for me to do those things. March 25 miles, run 25 miles, 5 miles backwards, those type of things that we had to do, and jump out of them airplanes. When I was discharged, I went to two schools, same school. And I trained the troops. I trained the soldiers and everything. I was a sergeant. And I had the leadership functions that I had to do was just put me right back to the stick game to give direction. And also in my work, in the jobs that I was the bosses in, is I automatically knew how to do this and how to treat people because I had been through that when I was younger in stick games and stuff to try to get people to play and to understand to how the game was supposed to be played. And so stick games helped me all the way through my life. And I'm with Walt, Lara and Associates Timber Falling Company. Walt Glenmore, Glenn's grandfather, took me right along with him in the woods with the jobs that he had, I had. So it started with I walked Dean Langford down at Klamath, California when I was about 14 years old when I went to work for him, peeling in the woods. And so this all helped me all the way through where I wasn't bashful to ask for a raise or anything like that, you know. So and I'm sure that it's something. I know some other kids that the same way that are involved with the ceremonies that we have had. And, you know, I mentioned a lot, Frankie Maston, Jake Blake, just those people that are in those leadership positions and ceremonies now is in Little Glenn, you know. I'm so proud of Little Glenn for even when he got his bus driving job, you know, I thought, man, that's really something, you know. But it's really stick games and ceremonies help our people so much. You just can't realize what it means to them that they can do something that no other race of people can do, you know, and that's be able to talk to the fire, deal with the creators and the spiritual structure of our lives. And that's what all this training is about that we have to do on the beaches and stuff. Is you running along there, you're running along there, pretty soon something's going to grab you. You feel like something's going to grab you and you're not supposed to turn around. You're supposed to keep going and man, you almost die, you know, but you get away from it. It's unbelievable. I come off a Trinity Summit one time and that's the same thing. I was up there hunting and then I thought I rested a little bit and I fell asleep. When I woke up, it was dark. So I had to come out there in the dark, man. And I ran right into something. But man, it's unbelievable the things that happen to you when you're in the woods in the nighttime that you know, and when I got older, all I would do is tell them, no, I ain't got time to mess with you. Don't bother me. I just keep on going, you know. But it's a good life to be us, to be that's a good life. It's you know. So I'll let
I
Tessa-
think, well, I think that's a perfect sort of segue into, you know, one of the focuses of this us doing this is the talking about the stick game, and you know, you're part of this project, and most people on here, this wellness project that we've been doing for the last 2 years. But it's, you know, to think about how we promote wellness and do mental health in our community from our perspective, from our traditions, from our ways of doing things. And so my question is, how do you see the sticks interconnected with all the other things that we as Native people in this area do? So how is it connected to language, or how is it connected to, you know, preventing illness? Like what, you know, how, let's maybe we could start with James and seeing the similarities between the sticks and also the importance of language as an example to the promotion of our community, the building of our community, and the prevention of things such as suicide, things such as substance use. Like, how does this all you see interconnected with sticks being one example?
Well, I think it's important because, you know, it's something that people try to take away from us. You know, when we had outsiders come in, we had the gold rush come in, we had a lot of those historical traumas that were put on our people. You know, we had a whole apocalypse, our whole world changed, you know, and people try to get rid of our language, they try to get rid of culture and all these things, and the resilience of those elders, like those people that Walt was mentioning, those people that Glenn was mentioning, you know, people that I mentioned, you know, they fought through that adversity, and they taught the language, they taught us how to play sticks, they, you know, they kept us alive. And I think that's the important role that it's going to play in us is that resilience, that survival, and that's who we are, and that's part of that healing of taking back what is, like Walt said, that's rightfully ours. It was given to us, you know, it was given to the local Native people here, you know, and you know, we're blessed to have that. You know, we are so fortunate that, you know, the area that we live in is the highest population of Native people in California, this Northern California part. You know, we got the biggest tribes here. You know, we were the last remote place in the lower 48 states. And so, like, you know, we're very fortunate and we're very lucky. And, you know, we also have a responsibility. You know, it's getting back to, like, you know, we're talking about different roles, you know, that you have in the stick games. You have your strong man, you have your fast man, you have your scratcher. You know, we have different roles, and part of our roles as humans, as us, is these ceremonies and these dances and these rituals and the way you treat your kids and the way that you raise your family. Those are all our roles and our responsibilities as humans. So I think it, you know, that's what it translates to me as. So.
Well said. What about you, Willard? Just the way that I think that Walt had talked about that, you know, the sticks were tied to some of our, you know, ceremonies and doing it, you know, on Sunday morning, but just the way that you see sticks as a core part of our cultural practice and cultural ways of being, and how that, you know, is just one part of being culturally defined to promote the betterment of our community.
Well, I have a grandson. He's like 15, and he's a real good athlete. He's been having some problems, but what I noticed is when you see all these young guys interacting, say if you're fishing, say you're fishing upriver or down the mouth, you run into it, and so I'll talk to the other grandpa, or they'll say, these guys must be brush dancers. So if you see them, how they all interact, most of them, a lot of them have met through ceremony. So whether you're fishing and you meet them on the mat and wrestling, he made them on sticks. You had the stick games. So the stick games and all those things in wrestling and sports is a real good thing for like keeping our people with healthy lifestyles, promoting wellness. The more that we have these events like stick games and other events and wrestling, I try to support them all as best I can. We have maybe the kids that are having a rough time, as they come out of the rough time and they engage in all these different things in ceremony, I would like to see them. I think that if they can overcome their problems, they can be a incentive for some of our other boys that you see sitting around, and some of them all they know is healing, and some don't even know that. They are in like a very big rut, and I see a couple of them, and my grandson, he's doing better now, and he needs to go to a program, and he had shoulder surgery. I hope to see him make a full recovery, get into his ceremonies, playing sticks, go wrestle, keep him engaged. And far as those other young fellows who are coming from dysfunctional families, I would like them to know that there are people like us who care. If they need to reach out to us or to Two Feathers or Walt, Glenn, James, I would like them to know that they have a place where they can find something to be part of. Because a lot of them, it's like they talk about being in this place of everything's hopeless, because they haven't been able to see the opportunities that are awaiting them because of dysfunction. And I'm always going to be here to help our youth, mentoring, working with Kyoki, how he brings youth up. We really need to keep our foot to the pedal on this. You know, we have this pandemic, but we also have a lot of illnesses with our native peoples. And we can make a change, and we are making a change. And we can't give up on ourselves, and we can never, ever give up on our people.
Virgil, I need to ask Tessa a question. Okay? How do I ask him? Can you hear me? You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot to ask you a question, Tessa. What have you learned from sticks?
What did I learn from sticks?
Yes.
To be respectful, like don't throw sand in each other's faces, don't rub the stick down each other's backs, and just train hard, work for it.
Okay. So, you know, I think we're getting some teams out there that are younger generations of people, and the only thing is you know, it's just like the ceremonies right now. It's hard to go ahead and do it. I mean, we've prayed to the fires like we're supposed to. We talk to the fires, and you know. And I was asked a question. This person asked me a question. How do you pray? You know, just you know, we've lived so long. People think that we don't have a religious function. You know, and it's because we don't go to church and all this stuff. You know, but way we pray. We pray is we talk to the fire. We talk about the weather. We talk about the fog. We talk about the ocean. We talk about the trees. We talk about grass when it's dry, and and we talk about the grass when it's green. And we thank the creators for that. We thank the spiritual structure that we deal with, and their spirits of Atikon, that's old time Indian people that give us guidance here. They come over every time that we have a ceremony, and we deal with them. We talk with them. We request all kinds of things, that the dams are removed, that the water stays cold enough so that the fish can survive. We talk about just about everything that there is. And we got our Heathkeyslide, a surfish, and we need to get that back again. We talk about, why it was taken, and it did come back. We finally got some. So it just how Indian people live, and how our culture, our religion, way of life that we have is in place. It is getting back into place again. And then along comes this virus, where we can't get out there and do the things. And it's almost treating us like the BIA taught us, treated us. So it's kind of holding us up. But people don't let it stop you from being being the way we are, and other Indian peoples, the way your tribe had functioned hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago. Don't let it change to where it gets lost. We need to keep it, and that's what we were trusted to put together. And the people that I work with, and like Chris and James and all, language is the most important thing we can have, because without your language, you don't have an identity. See, even it's something that I support 100%. James, you're doing a good job, and we gotta keep going. And so I go ahead. Somebody else say something.
Thank you,
I
Walt.
don't take up all the time.
I'm curious. I feel like Glenn has a very good perspective of not only being a person that was raised culturally and has cultural knowledge and practices it, but he's also worked within the schools and within sport and the sticks. So I'm wondering, from those three different areas that have informed, I would guess, who you are, Glenn. Like, what are your thoughts about how the sticks is interconnected with the thriving of our community, and specifically the importance of culture in the youth that you see and worked with, and in your own life?
That's a very good question, Virgil. I think that we're going into a direction in a good way, with the help of Two Feathers and your program, and doing a part of that stick game in your guys' realm right now. Kind of touching a little bit on what Willard had to say about it helps our people, stick games, and it can help people get on the road of recovery, maybe if they've slipped, or that, like, he kind of touched him on the point about there's people in the community that know about stick games, and those are people that we should be talking to, and it kind of gives them even younger people that are struggling right now that have been playing. I've been watching a lot of our young people in the valley lately, and a lot of them play sticks. Maybe this will help them get back on a good path. Say, hey, can you talk a little bit about stick games, or what you learned, or and maybe in the back of their mind that helps them with their trigger something that a coach taught them, or a mentor. I mean, you have a vast knowledge of people on today, and I think that it helps us be better people And we continue this. You up and down the coast here in Hoopa, downriver. Right now, we're kind of in a funky situation with the pandemic that's hitting, but that doesn't mean that you guys can't train or be able to, always learn. And maybe in the future we can get more Zooms to talk about different things about sticks. But I think that we're going in a pretty good direction, Virg.
All right. So I guess, since we're running out of time, I wanted to throw it out if there was any stick stories that any of you would like to share. Any stick stories? I'm going to share again some pictures that Walt shared with us. I'm sure there's some stories in these pictures. But any stick stories, I think, we are storytelling people, right? We are storytellers. And so I would hate to not have some stories on this. We've already told stories, but any specific stories, throw it out to the panel if anybody's got any stories.
When go back to that first, the one where I got the cowboy hat on. Oh, this is Tessa on the night. This go back right there, yeah. Okay, when that's done that, I'll walk Buzzy Dowd right here. He's the coach, and I'm the coach. And this is Don Nat. He's a stick player. This is a strong guy. And there's Ralph Downs right there, and there's Pork Jones. And so, you could probably say that they're another team that was pretty strong that nobody could beat. But you don't go forever undefeated. But these boys did pretty good for a while. And in the background, you see, I walk Charlie Fry back there. That's Willard's uncle, and you see a lot of others there, and then you can tell it's a bunch of Indians because you see how they lean on their cars and stuff back there. See, and so I think that the time before that, when we were younger and I was playing, I might have been 11 years old, 12 years old. And these guys were younger. But we played in that same field there, but it was a rodeo ground. And we won the game. We won the game, but we had cow manure all over us. And so this Joe Pitt, he had just got married, and he had rented this cabin down at the mouth of the Klamath River down there, the Requa Inn. And he told Ricky and us that we could take a bath down there. And so we did. And man, it cow manure all over in that bathtub. So I washed it out when I got through. And then about 5 of us, other guys went in there, and I guess they didn't wash the tub out. And when he got back from his honeymoon, took his wife down to that cabin, I guess you could hear the scream from Requa clear to the mouth of Klamath River where somebody didn't wash the tub out when they left. And I'm sure it was Bricky. So that's a story that happened with the stick game. But if you go back into the first picture there, go back. Yeah, that one. Can you get that one bigger?
There it is.
Okay, see, now you see this one right here?
Yeah.
The guy that's on the ground. is Ronnie Marshall. I walk Ronnie Marshall. Okay. And the guy that's up here, that's me. And he's got a toe hold on me. And when I got away, I had to jump. And he broke my toe. Here's old man Walt McCovey. And here's one of the old professionals, Grizzly Ike, the guy that trained me. Okay. And here's my brother Frank. Now, you think I was big? Look at that guy. So, and my dad is in here. Let me see. He's got a hat on over here. He's in there somewhere. He's always to the games that I played. And so,
They can't see where you're pointing.
yeah, I can't see. Okay, so what?
They can't see where you're pointing.
Oh, okay. They can't see?
No, where you're pointing.
Oh, okay. And go ahead and show another one there, that picture. No, another one. Okay, there's Tessa and I practicing up a little bit down there. It's Indian house over there. So, okay. Show another one. Another picture. Another picture.
I think I might be missing one. I'll have to pull it up.
Okay.
Oh.
I wanted to see a person that was in shape.
Okay. All right. Well, while I pull it up, is anybody? I think James might have a story, and then I'll share a picture too. But I'll pull it up. James, you're on the spot.
I got lots of stick game stories, you know. It just, you know, I like to think that my wrestling background and growing up with training, like, you know, my grandpa had a boxing club for 16 years. So, you know, we were in physical shape. And so it didn't matter. I was the anchor man almost all the time, anchor man or scratcher. And back before I broke my legs, I was 130, 140 pounds and still being the anchor man because, you know, didn't matter if I was big or not. I was strong. I can grab a hold of someone, you know, just that grip strength, not let him go. But I remember, you know, my job this one time was just, they had this guy who was always scoring points for Hoopa all the time. He was fast. And we had like Frankie Joe Myers and Little Richard Myers and different ones. And, you know, they were big. You know, I was 130 pounds and nobody could hold him. Nobody could hold that guy. He kept scoring all the points. And I said, you know what? I'm the littlest guy here. But I said, if you want me to hold him, I said, I'll scratch with him. He's the one scoring everyone's points. And so we were going against what Artie Jones says is still one of the only undefeated Hoopa teams, but I held their score about 10 minutes and there was some controversy at the end of their down on the other end of the field. But anyway, we were ahead 2-1. We never got to finish that game, the best out of 5, but when that game was called off, we were winning. So, you know, just had to do my job. And then that one picture that you're showing earlier, that was that undefeated team Walt was talking about earlier. That was had my great grandpa Bill in the middle, and off to the left there was Oscar Taylor, and then the brother Larney Taylor.
Yeah, right here. There's, you can't see anyway. Bill's in there.
Yeah, right in the middle is my great grandpa Bill. And then to the left there, it's Oscar Taylor. He used to swim a mile out into the ocean around a rock there for training for stick games, and it's their brother Larney Taylor off to the right. So as you can see, they're in really good shape. You know, you had to be, you know, because everyone was training. You know, everyone worked hard. So
Okay, go back to where I'm just standing there by myself.
All right. All right. Let me bring it up.
Yeah, this is from running on the beach and training and training and training. And then they say when there's foam in that lagoon over there, you're supposed to dive in there and swim around a little bit. Say that guy comes down from the Cab Massa, I call it, right here, raise it up a little bit. There you go. There's Bushy Ike, one of the undefeateds over here, right here, coming over there, talk to me. And that's Walter James Lara right there, senior. So that's in shape when I was in shape, see? And boy, I tell you, food can destroy you. Yeah, but so I think I have a broken toe right there too. Yeah, I do.
So any other stories before we get off? Any last words or stories that those of we got one from Glenn and Walt and James. Any last words, or Mr. Carlson or Glenn or?
I got one quick story. Actually, I got two of them, but there was a particular one up there in Hoopaw. It was a real big game, hot day, and one of my friends from Hoopaw, he was like a year older than me, and he was really fast in track in high school. So he was the fast man. I think maybe Walt might remember this story, but I was getting ready to go play, and I was playing anchor that day. So this guy from Hoopaw, his family and friends were rubbing him down with lotion and grease all over his body, from like all the way from his face, his knees, his toes, and his legs. And I thought, well, I was thinking, well, no problem there, you know. I thought, no problem. I'll just pick him up and body slam him and hold him, you know. Anyway, things didn't really quite work out as how I thought. So the tossle drops, and I grab him by his waist, and I got him in an arm lock like this. I'm gonna pick him up, but my arm slid all the way up to his armpits because he had all this oil and this grease on him. And, you know, and he was slippery as hell. So somehow we end up kind of like on the ground, and I'm on the seat of my pants, and everybody else is locked up game. And I got him by his thigh here and got him down to his knee, and I'm losing him. And I'm on to see his pants, and he's trying to pull away by pulling his leg, you know. And so everybody from the Hoopaw crowd are all yelling and big game. And so I got my one hand, I got a hold of him. I start grabbing dirt on him, and I start throwing it on his legs and trying to get a better grip. I get all the way down to the ankle, and he's almost going to get away. And I thought, wow, if he gets away, I am not catching him. And I was never, ever really, in my mind, nobody really ever defeated me, you know, like individually. I mean, we won some and lost some, of course. But anyway, he was just pulling away, and he was almost getting away, and somehow I scooted underneath him just enough to put my legs up and get him in a full scissors. I got him right around the neck, and boom, he flopped, and everybody from downriver jumped up, and everybody just a holler. And finally, our fast man, Eddie Moore, he broke away, and we won. So it was like, wow. Anyway, I wasn't mad about it, but I was so glad, I was so relieved, because I didn't want to be beat. And there was no way. And somehow my little prayer, or what you might want to call it, somehow pulled through. So that was a heck of a game. And one other time, I just wanted to let you know down in Salmon Festival, the stick field used to be across the highway, Klamath there. So we had an undefeated team for about 2 years, and we was really on a roll. So we played the Karooks first. We won that tournament. We played Hoopa. We beat them. Then we played Smith River. Cholowas. We beat them. So it's like at the end of the day, all the vendors are all getting ready to leave and a few people are there. So we're thinking, well, we won 3 times that day, 3 tournaments. So Eel River comes on over and challenges us at the end of the day, the way us. So we got our team, we went on over there too, and we finally got them. So we played 4 different tribes that day, and I had to say that was probably some of our finest days of playing sticks. And it was something to be remembered too for life, And like my cousin and my partners, well, unfortunately they passed very soon, not too long after that. But their legacy and everything else that lives on. Thank you.
Thank you, Willard. And any other Tesson or Glenn? You got a story, Tesson or Glenn? No? What about you, Tesson?
Not really.
Okay. All right. Any last words from any of our panelists, guests today about the sticks and the significance of the sticks? Any last words? I'll throw it out there before we get off.
I don't really understand the question. What do you mean, the sticks?
Yeah, you got any last words you want to say before we get off? Anything we haven't talked about?
Yeah, well, there's a lot that we haven't talked about in the stick game, like up at what they call rock pile. There's training areas up there. There used to be a big circle up there, okay? And they had a fire and they ran a cat right through that circle. So the seats and stuff are still there and everything, but down in the bottom is a stick field. It's a great big stick field down there. And they used it when they were logging in there. This is in the 40s and the 50s. They went in there with a cat and they tried to dig water out of the inside of it. And so Glen's grandfather and I, we went in there and he said, we need to clean this up. And so we cleaned it up. We took all the rotten logs out of there and all that. And it's a place where people went to train to be good stick players. And it's the only ones that really actually played the game there were the Wogays, we call them, or spiritual people that played the game there. And how serious, how it is, why I'm telling you this, is that everybody knows that this happens. And so this old guy from way over they call wild wire grass, one of these Wogays went by his yard there where he had his house. And so he followed him all the way down into the river, across the river, and he followed him way up on there. And he didn't go all the way into the, you might say, Coliseum, how it was told to me. He stopped right there in that Wogay spirit. He went on in, and it's just yelling, just like a ball game in the Coliseum, just like that. And when I was cleaning it, and it seemed like I could hear that. And there was an oak tree there. That oak tree was hanging out over like this, And I thought, geez, somebody lives by here and that tree falls over, it might hurt them. So before I realized that, human beings didn't play there. It was a spiritual place. I took that tree down. I took it out so that it wouldn't hurt anybody. And I've always, every time I go by there, I give my apologies for that, because how much knowledge that tree had, of what was going on there. And so this is where you get that. Hold them up your stick. That's where you get it there. You get it right up across the trail there. You get it. You get those sticks there. And you get them, and they're long like that. And they take it, when they heat them up, they turn the end a bit, and they heat them up. So it has a hook on it. Sometimes you can find one with a hook on it already where you can cut it that way, but that's how they heat them up. And then they smoke them up, and then they talk to the fire about how they're to be used and like that. So it's all in that spiritual move of ceremony, and the whole thing that we do. It's always has the fire that you deal with to pray that nobody gets hurt, nobody gets poked in the eye, and things like this. So Indians, they were spiritual people, and just the penalties that the government did to them when they came in was take away their ceremonies, send their kids away, and not to talk their language. 3 things that are most important to us. So I end mine with that.
Walt, we had a question, if you still have the black snake stick.
Yeah, it's right here in this house. You want to see it?
Sure.
That's what I use I used to use it to straighten tassel toward the end there. He's got it right there.
There it is. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for their time. I think this was
How will I do?
a awesome panel, intergenerational panel. I think that you all are modeling what's right with our community and in our culture. And we hope to, continue to try to bring up that so that we can better support our community in any way that we can, personally myself and Two Feathers. And so just thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
I kind of hate to. Oh, it just